Taking a live look outside on this warm and muggy Saturday morning, kicking it off with temperatures only in the mid 70s, but we've already started to warm up from there. We have a first warning in place this afternoon, another one on Sunday, and another one on Monday as this heat wave just won't quit. But it's not just the heat, it's the humidity too. I'm going to break down what feels like temperatures will look like through the rest of your Saturday, but also Sunday and Monday, though a quick cool down is coming our way, headed about middle of next week alongside a rain chance. I'll show you all of those things in just a moment, but first let's talk all things heat, what you need to know specifically about the rest of your weekend and your morning too. It's already heating up out there right now. First warning again in place today, Sunday and Monday for that hazardous heat and that hazardous humidity too. Looking ahead a couple of hours, heat advisory will come into action 1 p.m. today, will expire at 7 p.m. Then we have another one on Sunday, same time frame, 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. This is the exact same thing that we saw yesterday. A couple more areas of far eastern Missouri now added into us, but for us here in the metro and surrounding areas, viewing area as a whole, it looks the exact same. It's just going to rinse and repeat that tomorrow, and it's also likely that we get a heat advisory issued for the same exact time frame on Monday too, because it might be just a touch lower on the thermometer in the mercury, it's still going to be extremely hot, borderline dangerously hot then too. So let's look outside right now. Let's see what things are cooking up to be. Already almost in the 80s. We're only past 8 a.m. by 25 minutes now. Humidity hanging heavy too, thick and stubborn in the air, 82% right now, feeding into feels like temperature of 82 degrees. So it's not often that we have mornings this humid that we therefore have a feels like temperature kicking into play already. That's unfortunately what we're experiencing right now. If you want to get outside this morning, if you need to mow, if you need to take the dog on a walk, if you want to just take a run yourself, know that it's already very, very warm out there, but at least manageable now for the next about hour and a half. By 10 a.m. already going to be feeling like 90 degrees. Please keep that in mind today. This is going to be the coolest time, and then in the evening time still going to feel in the 90s past 10 p.m. tonight, but it will be more manageable with being out of the direct sunlight. So just keep that in mind. Right now and late tonight are going to be the most comfortable times outside, but comfortable is an exaggeration. Very humid, very muggy, sticky too. Tons of sunshine throughout the rest of the morning, and into the afternoon will take us into the 90s with ease. So much like yesterday, very hot today. Same thing will go for your Sunday too. Let's talk about forecast highs today, what we can expect through the afternoon as a whole and the peak of the afternoon in particular. That arrives around 3 p.m. and lingers pretty much until 5-6 p.m. about the time we're sitting down for dinner. Highs around the area in the mid 90s. Wow, could be the hottest day of the year so far. I'll talk stats and climatology here in a second, but feeling like the triple digits is no joke. And this is feeling even hotter than what we had yesterday, in a range of about 102 degrees to 107 degrees is what we're talking about. So yesterday we were feeling about 100 degrees to 105, still very hot, still at heat advisory level criteria, but today even more so, and is why we're really harping on heat safety in particular today. Normal high for about this time of year, 87. We're sitting a good 7 to 10 degrees hotter than that. Here's a look at forecast feels like temperatures area wide today at 3 p.m. So that's when they really get to be their hottest. It will stay like this, much like the afternoon high, for several hours. Again, 106, 107 degrees looking to be the hottest that we feel today for most, but Chillicothe on this map, numbers starting to spit out closer to 108 degrees. So more isolated, localized spots could feel even hotter than 107 degrees today. And reminder, anytime we talk forecast feels like temperatures or feels like temperatures in general, that's what it feels like in the shade. So in the direct sunlight, tack a good 10 extra degrees on that. That's why it is going to be feeling so hot today. But also could be the hottest day just in general and in the record books for 2025 so far. If we hit 96 right on the dot, we're going to tie July 29th and August 8th, so just about a week ago, for the hottest day so far. But if we outdo that by only 1 degree, then that will make today, August 16th, the hottest day of the year so far. So this heat it's serious, and this is likely the hottest streak of heat that we have so far this year, and potentially for the rest of the month, but we won't get too in the weeds with how we're going to look to round out the end of August just yet. Still too far out to tell for that, but just know extremely hot right now, extremely hot Sunday too. First warn still holding true then too. We'll still have winds out of the south all day today, all night tonight, feeding and boosting that moisture and humidity to keep us going strong and feeling hot on your Sunday too. But it doesn't end by the time the weekend ends. It instead carries into next week to Monday, still feeling almost identical to Sunday in both the forecast high temperature and the forecast feels like temperature, well into the triple digits again. When will we break the heat? Well, that looks to come right around Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday itself will still be hot and very muggy, but is when we start to mix in a rain chance and a storm potential. So Tuesday is going to be one that we're watching very closely, because that could bring our next best chance for some thunderstorms. Still a little too far out to tell on that, but we may have a first warn rolled out for Tuesday. We're going to see what the afternoon data does, and then we'll let you know on that. But then Wednesday, still muggy, still some lingering moisture, then it starts to tank a bit. Now, we're not going to be completely dry and crisp out there by the time we're rounding out next week, but it will definitely be better, and we will take any relief that we can get from this oppressive and downright stifling humidity out there. So let's talk what those temperatures could look like into next week, but also what that rain chance could look like, and start to just get an early look at that. So again, we wrap up this heat wave for the most part on Monday. The heat starts to break up on Tuesday, becomes slightly more manageable. We'll still be feeling very hot. We'll still be in the 90s, but that rain chance and then that associated cloud cover is going to start to help us out then, and start to break down the heat, break down the high pressure that's putting us under this dome and bubble of heat. But then there comes that storm potential. So I'll show you on the 7-day forecast, big look ahead here. 20% chance Monday, more likely for the evening and overnight for rain. And then going into Tuesday, that's when we'll start to try and pull in this cool front. That's when we'll try and take those temperatures down a notch too, getting into the mid 80s Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Check out those overnight lows as well, starting to bring them down into the 60s. Let's pop that back up there. We can see how those will be more manageable and more seasonable for this time of year all around the clock. That's what we like to see. Still sunshine then, so we'll be able to get outside and enjoy it. That storm chance really drops off after Tuesday, then things look much drier for the rest of the week. So not many rain chance coming down the pipeline there. Instead, we're talking more so just a cool down with that cool front. Again, still will be watching Tuesday very closely because of that thunderstorm potential. But something else I do want to mention back about Monday is how a lot of those Missouri kids are headed back to school on Monday. So Monday morning, we're not really dealing with a rain chance like we were this past Monday morning when those kids were going back to school about 7 days ago now. Instead, we're talking the heat and the humidity and the mugginess. It's only going to be getting down to the mid 70s Monday morning. You need to be making sure that the kids are drinking a lot of water this weekend, because by the time we reach recess Monday afternoon, going to be incredibly hot out there. So just keep that in mind as you're gearing up for that first week of school over on the Missouri side for a lot of those school districts over there. But all weekend long, be practicing heat safety, be wearing those lighter color and more lightweight fabrics when possible. That's whites, yellows, light pinks, and blues. That can really help you out and keep you cooler when we are just in the dead of summer like we are throughout the rest of the weekend. and potentially the hottest time of year so far. But we'll look forward to that cool down. We'll be monitoring that storm chance on Tuesday, and of course, we'll keep you updated.